Hi, good evening, all the students, learners, mentors, and my friends. They are watching me here on this channel. Today's topic is a little bit sensitive, but I am going to reveal the reality of the society where the students or the learners have been working hard for their success in their future. Now, today's subject is about fetching the marks, good marks in examination. Many of the students or learners, they are sometimes in problem, they are sometimes in their suspicion that they haven't fetched good marks in their exams. Would it influence on their further study? Would it have the negative impact on their higher education? On that subject, I would just explain. To some extent, we can say that fetching a good mark in the examination is a good way for being ambitious in future. It means if you want to be ambitious in future, if you want to be aspirable in future, if you want to be self-energetic in future, if you want to self-predictive in future, because you listen to such persons through your mentors, through your near about circles, that fetching a good marks in the exam is the key of success. The same thing, the revelation of the truth behind it, that fetching a good mark in the exam is not thoroughly or completely true for getting success in future. Though you have good position in the examination, though you have fetched good marks, but it must be acknowledged, it must be considered, how did you get good marks in the exam? It means from which school, from which board, from which state or the central board, or what was the scope of the examination, what kind of the examination was conducted through which you brought or you fetched good marks. So at first we take the state government schools, then we take the central government schools, then we just categorize the school A, school B and school C. These are the levels of the school being run by the state governments, central government, as well as the private principals or the private coordinators there. Now I take the example of at first state governments. If you fetch good marks through your state government, like the MP board, like Bihar board, like Bengal board, then it is not a very impossible thing. Now if you say that without a study, how can someone fetch good marks? Yeah, I am not denying the fact, without a study, one can't fetch good marks. But there is one chance to get good marks. The first chance is that because you are in the state government, you are the student of the state government, so you may have the approachability or approach even to the state board of examination, and someone's parents would have the direct approach to the director of the examination, and the director can handle the situation, and by looking through the situation, she can just take this under their consideration in their opinion, and she can provide good marks. Second one thing is that where was the student conducted for the purpose of the exam? Where was the place, where was the seat of the examiner when she was present in the examination that time? It also depends on that, because what happens that now the roll numbers are in queue, there are the rows and columns in a room where the exam is being conducted. But what happens that due to the high level of the setting through the examiners, there are the chances that good or such students can take advantage through their previous approach with the examiner, and examinee can fetch good marks. Third one is that the level of the marking system. How is the marking conducted? How is the marking evaluated after the examination? Because with time to time, there is a lot of difference between the marking system of the examination. In earlier days, it was even difficult or sometimes impossible to pass with the third class in the board examination of the state board. But nowadays, Many of the students, they don't know the subjects properly or deeply, but they fetch good marks. They pass out with 98%, 99% or 100%. Sometimes that looks very bizarre or very impossible task. It's not a very easy task. It's not child's play to fetch even 99% mark or the 98% mark even in the language paper. Now, fourth thing is that the chapter you are reading, for example, tomorrow is your examination and today you are revising for your exam. Today you have your friends together, you are gathering together, you are preparing for the examination, and you are discussing on some topics would be asked the following day in the examination. What happens that sometimes whatever you are reading today, the same question sometimes you encounter in the exam, and you appear in the exam and you get or fetch good marks better than your friends who works hard and hard, and who is more laborious than you, who is more industrious than you. Sometimes you may have heard that your friend is not good at study, but she has fetched good marks, and you haven't fetched good marks, but your friend has fetched good marks. What is the reason behind it? Because it depends on the preparation. It depends on the mood of the examiner. How does she goes through the marking system while evaluating the mark? So the first one was the state government. Now second one of the central government I am talking about. In the central government like ICSE or the CBSE, that is the main way to understand the CBSE, because many of the students, they prepare for the CBSE examination, and there they aspire for good marks, like they want to get above 90, 95, 99. Their parents have also the high expectation with their children that their children must fetch the marks between 90 to 100. Now what happens that because it is already pre-decided that the student must fetch good marks in the exam, so there are the two ways to get the marks. The first way, that the students start preparing only for the basis of the marks. They don't judge their own level of the evaluation. They don't consider for their knowledge. They don't think that knowledge is better than the marks. What happens that ultimately knowledge plays an important or vital role for your future success. But the parents' ambition and parents' expectation towards the children for fetching the good marks brings the children on such a forefront, where children starts preparing for the sake of only fetching good marks. For that purpose, what does she do? She starts preparing those question papers and question banks or the questions asked in the previous examination, and they start understanding the tactics of the examination, that how is the examination being conducted and what is the marking system in the CBSE or the central board of the examination. After going through the proper analysis of the previous paper or the questions like MCQ, like mathematical question, or like reasoning questions, like science question, or other theoretical papers like English, social science, and many other subjects like sociology, like history or humanities, other subjects there, what happens that if there are some friends, they have already fetched good marks, what does she do? She has a good conversation or opinion with him or her. So it is always told that you should have the good friend in your life. If you have good friend in your life, she can change your lifestyle and direction. But here the changing of the life or lifestyle is not in that way. What happens that she can only direct you how to get and fetch good marks. She can never take the guarantee of the complete lifestyle or the success in future. Okay, so it's not very impossible to fetch good marks in the examination. Getting good marks in the examination is the good way to get success in your life, but it is not the thorough way of the getting of success of the key. What happens that you are energetic, you are self-predicted, and you have the enthusiastic nature to just do some remarkable thing in your life, and you start working hard accordingly. So I have just judged here the state government as well as now the central government. Even in the central government examinations, there might be approach by their parents to directly to the boards, and there is a proper high level setting between the two. Many of the time you would have listened that there were the leak of the paper during the examination. So what is the meaning of the leak of the paper of the examination? Why there is the leakage of the paper in the examination? Who does it? How is it conducted? These are all the levels of the setting of the parents as well as the boards by which the exam is being conducted. Now, you would have the proper information about fetching the good marks in the examination. So if someone's sons and daughters has good marks in the examination, it is not the subject of the impossibility, or it is not the subject of the surprise, because getting marks is not a very impossible task in someone's life. You can work hard and next time you can get more and more marks. You can try and even you can leave behind your all peers you have been since your childhood. So you should never worry that your friends has good marks and you are most of the time in anxiety. You are not a mirthful mood there and you think that you are inferior to your classmates. Never judge yourself in this way. Try to work hard and you get good marks. Many a time you would have seen in your life that many students or the learners, they have good marks, they have good colleges in the university, but they are not successful in the modern days. Do you know that why? I would just tell you at the end of this thing, at the end of the video, I would just tell you. So let's now start. Let's start just categorizing the three kinds of the schools they are being run in our country. The first one is the category 1, category 2 and category 3. They are also categorized amongst 3-1. First one is A school, B level school and C level school. In the A level school, what happens that if the parents are living far away from the school area and the parents doesn't have any approach with the school, the parents only knows that the children are studying in the hostel or the school, but the parents doesn't know very well about school's marking system, about school examination, about the school staffs and the teachers. Then there are the most and probability that the marking system are originally evaluated there at school. It means out of 100, if the children get only 20 marks or 25 marks or 30 marks, they get genuine marks. There is not any compromise between the school and the parents as well as the children. The teacher evaluate according to their children or the parents or the students have altogether work hard, and as a result of that the students have fetched good marks. What happens that sometimes in such schools, if there is no approach of the parents as well as the school staffs and the school's administration, in that case such children get original marks, they get the genuine marks, and that mark is always considered or evaluated in future, and that marks can only tell you that you are at what step today and tomorrow what should you do for the preparation of the higher examination or getting success day after day. So there is no way for anomalies, or you can't get marks through dishonest means over there. Now I go to the level B school, that is also called B grade school. In such schools, what happens that there are also the high probability of the chances that the teacher make partiality between the teacher or the students. Many a time it has been considered that the teacher most of the time they just tempt their students to have the private coachings, and if the students decline or deny such temptation, what happens that finally the teacher decides to deduct the marks accordingly. So it is also not the natural way to examine someone's knowledge, and under such conditions the children have to face so much difficulties, and they think that they are being biased by such teachers. So even the big grade schools, there is not much chances or the high possibility to get the genuine marks by the teachers or by the evaluators they teach in such schools. Now at last we are at the explanation of the C-level school. The C-level school depends on the connection between the teacher, students and the administrators thoroughly. Each and every staff, from students, parents to the administrators of the school, principal, vice principal, they know one another in a very deep order. They even know the parents' economical background, the parents' level of income, the parents' educational background, and each and everything. And in such schools, what happened that the first thing is the syllabus is not taught properly. There is the examination, there is all the guidelines, there is only the formalities which are conducted, but the students don't have the deep knowledge in each and every subject. The students are mostly dependent on the private tuitions as well as their parents, who are more and more educated, and their parents, their relatives can guide him, her in such critical condition. What happens later that such children, they have the rare chances to emerge with a good knowledge with all the subjects, because such schools are only run with the help of the marking system. If you find out the report card, you'll get even the weakest of the student, they fetch 50%, 55%, 60%, 70% and 75%, 80%. So can you evaluate, can you judge that this student is good at study, is she good at mathematics, English, science or other subjects? No, you can't evaluate. After just going through the report card, because the report card is prepared with the help of the inferior kind of teachers, staffs there. Even the teacher and staffs, they don't have the deep understanding of the subject, and they are mostly inexperienced and not well trained teachers. Many of them don't have the education degrees. They are normally graduate, postgraduate, intermediate or something else, but they don't have the proper training how to teach the children in the classroom. And this is why they evaluate the marking according to the children's present status, whether the children have a good position in the class, whether the students have good grasp over the subject, doesn't matter. It is the signal of the school administration that you need to increase marking due to the reputation of the school and such institutions where the student gets good marks. So it is not very impossible task. It is not hard nut to crack, that in such schools, if the students have good marks, then this is the way of the getting of the success. Okay. Now the question rises, many of the students, they pass out from such schools, A grade, B grade and C grade. Why is so much anomalies, or why is so much variations in the marking system of A, B or C? Because the education at the present day is not like the earlier education. The earlier education was only based on the knowledge, the wisdom, but nowadays the education has been compared on the economical level. The economics plays a vital role in fetching degrees, diplomas, certificates, but unfortunately economics or the financial power of someone else can't get knowledge. Correspondingly, though you have much money, you can just tell others that you can teach my son and daughter either at a good college or the institution, but you can't tell him her that whatever knowledge you possess, you need to instill the same in my son and daughter. It's impossible, and it's never possible, because knowledge can't be transmitted from one person to another person unless or until the receiver doesn't receive it through work hard, through your industriousness, and through your proper level of the training or the conduction, where the teacher conduct you accordingly. Okay. There are several questions on the marking system, because I have seen many a time that 99% in literature, 99% in Hindi subject, 99%. Do you think that any person can fetch 99% in English or literature? I can assume for a moment or to some extent that she can fetch 99% in mathematics or science. That might be possible, but can you think that 99% someone can fetch in literature or in Hindi? No, it's impossible. It's never possible that any student can fetch 99% in English or in literature or in other subjects there. Whether we talk about Hindi literature, English literature, or any literature being taught in the world or in India there, it's never possible, because there are so many variations in the language. Any chapter can be asked, any poem or any parts can be asked, but you have to, you would be given in the examination the extract of any poem or any short stories or long stories or novels, and you need to explain in the examination. You need to write accordingly. Can you think that it is possible? Do you think that any student can do it and she can fetch good marks or 99% marks? No, never possible. Actually, why is she is provided the marks? Because of the future encouragement. It is only for future enthusiastic level. He should prepare enthusiastically for future. He should never have any embarrassment or puzzlement for future preparation. He should assume herself that she has brought good marks even in literature, mathematics, science, or other subjects in the previous class, like class 10th, class 12th. But that is not true. That is not the true meaning of education. She has good accessibility to go to any college because she has got good marks. Whenever there is the cutoff in the good university there, a reputed university in India, then the students who have fetched good marks, she has more than 70%, 80%, 90%, 95%, she is at first invited through application form. And the rest who has below 50%, 60%, she is at last invited. So this is not the right way to just admit such students in the college. There should be the unanimous examination after 10th or 12th on the national level, on the state level, despite after fetching good marks in the examination. If there is the unanimous examination throughout the country, students would be evaluated according to not only marks but also for your knowledge. For example, someone has passed master degree or bachelor degree, but if she has to appear in any competition, that time the marks is not evaluated. Sometimes in the form it is written that if you have 60% and 50%, only then you are eligible for this examination. There the marks would be considered, but if you are in the examination hall and you can do better than those who have 90% and who have good scores like 90% and 100% there, then you would be considered better because you are doing better than him. And this is why you would be considered that you are a good student if you pass out the examination. This is why even the civil service examination, only graduation is mandatory, not your marks is considered, because 10 years ago you completed your graduation and today you are appearing at the civil service examination. When you appeared in the examination, you were at the age of 16, 17 when you were a student of the 10th class. But now today you are 26 and you are going to appear in the civil service examination. So what happens between the age level of these two periods, that with the passage of time, your knowledge is completely soared up, and you just have your own glimpse and imagination to just acknowledge the world with your own level. And this is why the marking system in the civil service examination is not considered. There are several examinations where marking system is not considered, but there are several examinations where marks is considered at first, that you must have 50% marks, 60% marks, but that is not the good way. This is the misgovernance of the country. There is so much you can say blot on the examination pattern of the country, and the education system of the country is not in the good order to just conduct someone else. Because if someone has passed with 10 plus 2 5 years ago, and during these 5 years she has prepared very well, and she can be superior to those classmates of the peers who has appeared and fetched 95% and I think 90%. So can't we compare such children who have the gap of the 5 years, and during the 5 years preparation she can be better than those who had already fetched 95% marks. So there is not the proper way to just handle the examination in the country. And with the passage of time, this is just like the horse race competition. If you win with the passage of time, then you are considered the victorious, and if you just don't win the race, then you are considered loser. The loser and victorious have the two ways to run on the same road, but it is also the time that plays an important role with their lives. Now at the end of the video, I just tell you that can we get good job if we have good marks? That is an important question for our life. No. We can never get good marks if we can never get good job if we have good marks. How can you say that? I tell you that. What is required in the market? We can't get it through marks. Marking system in the country, I told you the reasons how do you get, is not completely or correspondingly attached to the way we are being trained at the school or colleges. When we go and start practically doing the work in the offices or any marketplace, what happens that our marks is not judged to some extent. And for a moment, whenever you present the resume or you go through your resume in any office, in any companies like multinational corporation or anywhere, multinational companies or anywhere, what happened that at first in the resume it is written that you have passed out with good marks in from Delhi University, from Indira Gandhi Open University, from JNU University, from Patna University or somewhere else. Oh, now what happens that interview is very happy, but here what happens that interviewer who starts asking further questions about your experience, about the job you have applied for, and you don't answer even a single question. What happened that you are dismissed and you are rejected there. So what happens later? That marks doesn't work over here. Only your knowledge and experience works over there. So what is requirement in the marketplace like science, technology, your communication, they are so much important for the success in modern days. Though you don't have the great degrees, you don't have the higher degrees, but you have the experience to do the job in the market. You are successful in the market. At least you would start doing the job with the inferior salary, but in coming days you would have handsome salary after 5 years or 10 years with the help of the bona fide experience in the marketplace. So never judge yourself with the marking system. Judge yourself that what are you with the perspective of the modern market, with the perspective of the modern system of the work which is being run in the country. Are you suitable to the marketplace? Are you suitable to the companies? Are you suitable to the foreign countries where you would be hired for your job? So these are the things you should always keep in the mind, and never hanker after the marking system. Marks is an approach, marks is an accessibility through which you can go for getting the topmost colleges or the schools, for getting the higher education. You would have the satisfaction, you would have the encouragement, you would have the enthusiasm to innovate yourself in a good order, and you can break through yourself in a right order in coming days. You can create your own history after getting good marks. Sometimes it is published in the newspaper cutting, sometimes it is published in magazines. You would be happy, you would have the good enthusiasm, but it is not the reality in life, and you need to improve more than that. You need to work more than that. You need to prepare yourself according to the marketplace, and by then just take care of yourself. I think whatever I have explained, whatever we have discussed today, these would help you to understand yourself, and always try to gather the knowledge, always try to have the experience of some specific field, and never hanker always for the marks, as I have already told you. And by then take care of yourself. We just meet in some other videos, and have a nice day.